Learning magic can be a lonely endeavor, practicing sleights and moves by yourself, not always knowing what you should do next. Wouldn't it be great to have someone to show you the way? A leader who has gone down the path and can tell you the pitfalls to avoid and the direction you should take. Does someone like this exist, and are they willing to help you? This is not only possible for everyone. In this episode of Erudite Magic, I'm going to show you how you can have more than one of these mentors for your own development. I've been studying magic for decades, and over that period of time, I've learned from many different mentors. Most of the time when we think about learning from a teacher, a guru, a mentor, whatever you want to call it, we picture something fairly old-fashioned. For example, taking lessons from Tony Slidini. I'm gonna fool you. Or by regularly meeting with that teacher to show them your progress. But I've discovered that there's a much simpler way to learn from a mentor. I'm talking about reading and learning from magic books. How does that qualify as learning from a mentor, you might ask? Well, first of all, the author clearly had something to say that they thought that the rest of us could benefit by learning. So they put it into the immortal format of a book, which means that they took the time to carefully lay out their thinking just so that we could learn from it in the future. We'd be fools not to take advantage of that, right? But before you decide you've heard everything you need to hear, in just a second I'm going to share with you some specific ways that learning from a book mentor will help you and me, as well as give you a list of possible mentors you might consider depending on what you're trying to learn in magic. But before I do that, I want to point out that having a mentor from a magic book is different than just reading a magic book. I'm talking about studying someone carefully and allowing them to direct how you look at and perform magic, which means that I'm primarily talking about authors who've written extensively. And later in this episode, when I give you my list of potential mentors, I'm going to prioritize those who have published several works. But having a bigger body of work that you can study is important because it means that over time they've developed their own voice, which means that they have a style that then they can share with you. And because they have a bigger body of work from which to choose, it gives you more opportunities to pursue their teaching. But what are the benefits of learning from a mentor via a magic book? Well, one of the first and obvious benefits is that doing so can boost your own confidence. If you know that someone is widely respected within the magic world and you have opportunities to see them perform mind-blowing magic, you'll realize that what they're teaching is worth pursuing. And if this is entertaining and fooling magic, you practice what they preach by learning and applying these tricks yourself, then you too can entertain audiences with proven material. And along those same lines, if you like what you see from someone, there's a good chance that you'll like what you haven't seen from them yet. You're finding a style that resonates with you, and you should lean into that further. But another benefit of learning from a specific teacher is that you start to incorporate the jargon that goes with that area of magic. When I first started out in magic, I was reading books like The Apocalypse and honestly not understanding a lot of what I was reading. I really couldn't make heads or tails of some of the terminology. I was genuinely lost until I started to read more magic from, for example, Harry Lorraine. And over time, I gradually just started to pick up on some of the terms that they were using. And when I revisited The Apocalypse with some of this experience under my belt, I found that I had no trouble understanding what it was saying. Things started to click, and it'll do the same for you. Every branch of magic has specialty terms that it uses, and the more you lean into that and study it, the easier it will be for you to pick up works by that same author, understand what they're saying, and just get right into learning great magic. But not only does learning from a specific mentor give you a common language, it also gives you a tribe to which you can belong. If someone has published a magic book, it's likely that they have many followers around the world. And now, because you're studying this master, you belong to a group of devotees, which means that when you get together with magicians, for example, at magic conventions, you can find people who have similar tastes to your own, knowing that they've studied similar artists and can give you good and valuable feedback. But the cool part is you don't have to stop at just one mentor or tribe. Once you've learned and applied the material from one teacher, you can learn from another to further evolve your own personal style. And indeed, just like you're a unique individual, there will be many unique combinations of mentors out there. This episode of Magic is being brought to you by Don's Magic and Books. Don recognizes the importance of studying from great magical sources, which is why on his website he is constantly offering new books from an existing collection to someone who needs to learn from a new mentor. And these books are always offered at fair, reasonable prices, so you know when you shop with Don, you know you're going to get a great deal. He offers fast and free shipping in the United States if you meet a very low threshold, and I've heard from so many of you about how much you love shopping with Don's Magic and Books. So join the tribe of book lovers who consider themselves customers of Don's Magic and Books. Follow the link down in the description below and start shopping for the next book that might just teach you what you need to know. So who are some names that have been great mentors to magicians over the years? If you're into playing cards, Di Vernon immediately comes to mind. The professor literally needs no introduction. His works are scattered across many different books that are still widely available. And I can think of no better example of someone who has a very strong tribe, even decades after his death. Harry Lorraine is another mentor I've personally studied and has so many individual books that were published over the years: Close-Up Card Magic, Rim Shots, Quantum Leaps, etc. They've been republished into collections now, and many of them are available as ebooks. Not to mention the entire Apocalypse series, previously mentioned in this episode, has a ton of great card and close-up material. And even the items that aren't his, he's giving you his thoughts with the Lorraine touch. Another card mentor who is still with us is Juan Tamariz. There are a lot of people who consider Juan Tamariz to be a mentor, and if you watch his students, you can see his influence. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He has not only great sleight of hand technique, he can also be your start on the path to memorize deck work. Roberto Giobbi published the entire Card College series, which will teach you how to execute sleight of hands with playing cards, but he has so many other books that he's published as well, all focused around this area of sleight of hand with playing cards. If you're into work with metal money, that is coins, David Roth is one of the leading voices, and you can find his works across several different books. Most notably Expert Coin Magic and Coin Magic, both by Richard Kaufman. If you're into close-up, then Paul Harris is a great name. The Art of Astonishment trilogy has tons of worker material. And definitely, Paul Harris has developed a style, a funny, offbeat, and yet charming and practical style. And if you like mentalism, Bruce Bernstein published many books that were then compiled into the book Unreal. You can check out the full review of that here. Barry Richardson also published a trilogy of not only excellent mentalism, but other tricks that will play well to any type of crowd, and I've reviewed that set of books. Richard Osterland has a number of smaller booklets that you can study, and of course the late Bob Cassidy is someone from whom I've learned a lot. Basically what I'm telling you is that there are mentors out there for almost every style and budget. And if you like a specific teacher, you should proclaim that loudly and boldly. That way you can help find the right tribe for you. I indicated that you need a mentor, but you actually have a mentor. And that mentor is waiting for you on the pages of a good book in your library. If you want to know what mentors have great books about their lives in magic, check out this video. As always, my friends, I appreciate you watching. And until next time, keep reading.